What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you.
Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to the Ed Kilgore Show. And not a lot of good things we can say about the embarrassing and pathetic loss to the Denver Broncos, a team that gave up 70 points, although that was in the heat of September down in Miami. But boy, the Broncos, give them credit. They've come a long way. Sean Payton has resurrected that team and made Russell Wilson into a pretty competent quarterback, and he played a very, very serviceable game against the Bills. But boy, what a meltdown, and especially the way that it happened. Now, the Bills did make a move. Offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey gone. They had to certainly do something, and they're not in position yet anyway to put McDermott on the hot seat, although those questions will certainly be coming. Brandon Beane certainly doesn't escape scrutiny at this point because the wheels have just fallen off here. The Bills at 5-5, 7 games left, and that includes at Miami to end the season, but they also have Dallas here, and they also have the Eagles and the Chiefs on the road. 5-5, and all 5 losses are conference losses, so the Bills' only path to the playoffs right now is to win the AFC East title, and that's if they were to get things together. But what makes us think that's going to be possible in a short time? But Joe Brady, who is going to take over now the offensive coordinator duties for Dorsey, first of all, he's a very, very smart guy. I know everybody says, oh, he's a genius, he's a bright guy. He was fired as the offensive coordinator at Carolina 3 years ago before he came to Buffalo. But he and Allen, from everything I've heard and read, he and Allen have a very, very good relationship. They think a lot alike. And remember, Brady was the one that worked with Joe Burrow down at LSU in 2019. He was the offensive coordinator at LSU when they set all kinds of records in an undefeated national championship season. And basically, if you give him some athletes and some talent, he's a very, very effective offensive coordinator. And it's going to be interesting to see how his approach might differ in some ways from Dorsey. In this fiasco of a game, as everybody knows, Denver won it 24-22 on a last-second field goal. And before I get back to Brady for a second here, it's not just that the Bills lost. It's the way they lost. Finally, the Bills put together a nice drive. Allen takes it in the last 7 yards for a touchdown. And at the 2-minute warning, the Bills, it's just a 1-point lead, 22-21. But again, it's up to the defense to get a stop, and they can't do it. A pass interference call, and now they're in field goal range, and then you just can't make this stuff up. 41-yard field goal, wide right, and sitting at home watching on TV, I swear I'm embarrassed to admit this, but as soon as I saw the ball go wide right, in the back of my head I said, I wasn't even like elated or happy. I thought, there's going to be a flag, something. And I wasn't even surprised. And here he is, too many men on the field. I mean, it's unconscionable that could happen, but it did. Somebody should get fired over that, but it might have been a player. We don't yet know. It's all speculation, and I don't think Sean McDermott is going to let us know. He never throws people under the bus, but it's unforgivable to have too many men on the field, and they missed the field goal, and it's a game the Bills didn't deserve to win, but they should have won. But does that really matter in the overall scheme of things? The real issue right here, obviously, and it's painfully obvious, is Josh Allen and his confidence. He's still putting together a statistically pretty good year, but he's not taking care of the football and he's making poor decisions, and you cannot turn the ball over. Anytime you turn it over, you're a -2. You have 2 more turnovers than your opponent. You're going to lose about 75% of the time. The Bills in this game had 4 turnovers. Allen had 2 interceptions. One of them was not his fault, went right through Gabe Davis' hands. And you're starting to think, if the ball is heading toward Gabe Davis, bad things happen at Cincinnati. It was a pass intended for him that was intercepted. And Allen is trying to force the ball to Davis. He was wide open over the middle of the ball, right about here, right through his hands for an interception. And then the second interception, and this happens a lot. You see at the end of a half, people wonder a lot of times, they say, well, you have the ball at your own 20 or 25, and you've got X amount of time left, 50 seconds, so go for it. Well, bad things can happen. And that's why you see a lot of coaches just hand off a couple times. Had the Bills done that, they would have gone into the locker room with a little bit more comfortable feeling, but they throw the pick, and that leads to a field goal. And give the Bills defense credit, and I give McDermott credit for this. They did hang in there pretty well. They made some adjustments. Yeah, they have injuries, but no longer is this about Matt Milano and Daquan Jones and Trey White being gone. We're way past that. This young defense has actually been doing a pretty good job. It's the offense, and particularly Allen, that has been the problem. The offensive line is actually doing a pretty decent job, and knock on wood, they've been healthy all year, which is kind of surprising in a lot of ways. So what is going on with Allen? There are many things going on at play right here, I think. One is he's pressing. It's a confidence issue. And most athletes go through this. I remember Gilles Perreault years ago told me, we were on the road someplace and just chatting, and he told me that there were times when he felt like he was never going to score another goal. Now, this is a guy that's in the Hockey Hall of Fame and was one of the great players in NHL history. And he said he would sometimes feel like he was never going to score another goal, but he would work his way through it. That's kind of where Allen is right now. He's not done by any stretch of the imagination. He's going to be the Bills quarterback for the next few years. He's 27 years old. He's still 6'5", 240. Great mobility, great arm, football intelligence. He's a fierce competitor. He's salvageable, to say the least. So these thoughts, and comparing them to like Stroud or somebody that's come in with instant success. No, this is Josh Allen, who's still one of the premier quarterbacks in the NFL, going through a slump. Now, maybe Dorsey's words were starting to become redundant. Sometimes you have to hear a different voice. Will Brady be the quarterback whisperer that he could be? Get Allen back with playing with a little bit more confidence, maybe a little more swagger, maybe running the ball a little bit more. I know everybody gets worried about Allen's longevity and whether or not he's going to get hurt, but he's been hurt just as much in drop-back situations as he has running the football. And James Cook, here's another interesting thing that happened with McDermott. McDermott just does not forgive players that fumble. And sure enough, first play, they received the opening kickoff. They won the toss, and instead of deferring as they usually do, the Bills thought, you know what, we need to get off to a good start here against a Denver team that has been playing much better since that debacle against the Dolphins. They actually held the Chiefs to 9 points. That was a couple of weeks ago, and that was in Denver. But nevertheless, defensively, they've been playing much better. So the Bills, their decision is to get the opening drive going. And very first play, a little swing pass out to Cook, fumble. Loses a fumble. Goes to the bench. McDermott won't even look at him. So Cook doesn't really become a factor until later in the game. And then what a factor he became. And I applaud Dorsey here for recognizing that the Bills were running the ball well with Cook. And on that final drive, Allen didn't throw a single pass. Well, you say, well, they didn't need Allen. Well, yeah, they did. Because the threat of Allen throwing the ball is why some running lanes were open for Cook, and he took advantage. He had 12 carries for 109 yards. That's over 9 yards a pop. So going forward, is he going to be used more? Well, I suppose that remains to be seen. He did get lucky one time on a 42-yard run. He lost control of the ball. Somebody got a hand on it. Luckily for Cook and for the Bills, the ball did bounce right back to him, and he never even lost stride and turned it into a big gain. He was already on his way to a big game, but and then inexplicably, on a handoff, a simple RPO handoff, Josh put the ball in his stomach, but then dropped the ball. And yeah, it looks like Cook was the problem here, but no, that was Allen again not protecting the football. So the Bills had 4 turnovers. They were finally able to force a fumble, but no picks, didn't get any. The Bills haven't had any interceptions for at least the last 5 or 6 games. And when you're losing the turnover battle, you're losing football games. So what's ahead for now? Well, you can't do things in a rash manner. You have to stick with what you're doing and hope things get better. Maybe Dalton Knox will return at some point and the Bills can start running that 2 tight end set that they like so much. Kincaid is getting more and more involved. Shakir, I don't know why they don't throw him the football more. He had 1 target, 1 catch for 24 yards, and he's available a lot more than that. Gabe Davis, I've just given up on him. I really have. He'll make a play or two, but then he causes problems. And the Bills, that's one of the real issues they have to fix. Maybe not this season, because right now you don't want to overpay for some veteran just for a brief upgrade. This season, for all intents and purposes, already, I think they're looking ahead to 2024. And if the season plays out and they continue losing, then McDermott comes into play, because after all, Brandon Beane has to protect his flank. He has to protect his job. And if it becomes apparent that McDermott has lost the team, and I don't think he has yet, but sometimes you need a new voice. And right now, at 5-5, what was looking like maybe a Super Bowl parade before the year started is looking more like a funeral procession. By the way, I'd like to thank my sponsors here, Blue Tusk Tech, which shares can fix all your computer needs there out in Orchard Park. Atwell Eye Care. I had surgery on both eyes, cataract surgery, about 3-4 months ago. Fantastic job. I now have 20/20 vision. Have to use specs to read, but they're great. And then Global Vending Group of Buffalo, they're setting up vending machines literally all over the world to help child literacy. So they do a wonderful job. But thanks for joining us, and we'll see what happens going forward. But Dorsey is out. You've got a new coordinator in Joe Brady, who I think is a very talented guy. And hopefully that will be something that will benefit Allen and the Bills going forward. So keep your fingers crossed, and we'll see what happens.